Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with Trapsikis. I'm doing a review on the Batchat 12T. I recently acquired it for myself and I had a lot of trouble. Especially my opinion of the French light tanks was quite high, and now you get to tier 8 and you expect great things. You get into this thing and you see it's only got the one turret. You can't upgrade it beyond 380 view range. And that got me thinking, because my first tier 8 light tank was a M41 Bulldog, and the Batchat, to my mind, doesn't really compare. So I pulled up a list of all the tier 8 light tanks, and found that the Batchat 12T is the worst tier 8 light tank in every possible way. It's got the worst gun handling, worst mobility. The armor is not the worst, but it's still very bad, and the worst health. So what's good about it? Only thing really good about it is the fact that it's got an autoloader, whereas all the other tier 8 light tanks do not. So accordingly the DPM is obviously the lowest, as is usual with the autoloaders, but that does give you the opportunity to clip an enemy and do a whole lot of damage in a short amount of time. The intra-clip reload is 2 seconds, which means that you can unload 4 shells in a matter of 6 seconds. These 4 shells doing an average damage of 680, which is quite a lot of damage, and is more damage in a short time than the other light tanks will be able to do. So in that regard it is good, but in all other aspects it is slightly below par. Not to such an extent that I would say it's underpowered, but it is quite a challenge to play. Personally, I've got coded optics and brothers in arms and almost 100% of situational awareness, and my view range is only 430. So it's challenging to try to play this versus, for example, the Bulldog you see over there, which you can easily get up to 445. Right, so to the game. We're looking at Kurak-san, we'll just call him Kurak, and so far he's had a monster of a game. That's his first kill, but he's already got over 1000 damage, nearly 1000 spotting damage, and he's not taken any damage at all. You see him tracking the T-34 in place there, very good move, and he does a very clever thing here. He moves up and down exactly in the same way as if he were unloading while he's reloading. So the enemies have no idea that he's actually reloading his clip. That's a very good strategy to have. Now you see the Bulldog decides to shoot HE, and unfortunately for him that doesn't do a lot of damage, and here you see the damage of the autoloader. He manages to unload on the Bulldog and take all of his hit points. Lucky for him there was a little bit of fire there, which contributed to the Bulldog's demise. Right, so Kurak moves up, spots 2 artillery pieces and the Skoda T25, and at this point he's probably been spotted, but he starts unloading at the artillery. Issue-14-1 misses him, and he's looking for the shot, which is taken by the friendly Skoda T25. He spots the M44, who tries to shoot him, and moves up. Now, 2500 damage, 1500 spotting, 3 kills down. Typically, this kind of light tank would be a game would be a carry, where the team doesn't do very well and the light tank has to pull up his socks and do a lot of damage. This is not the case. The Kurak is simply doing a relatively aggressive game and managing to be at the right place at the right time, and that's how he gets the astonishing amount of damage. At the beginning I was busy talking about the different types of light tanks. He went to the west and spotted some enemies and was spotted himself. Then he moved over to the east. Now that's a very good strategy, because the enemies in the east are looking for you, so you're dividing their attention away from your allies, and the enemies in the west, well, in this case the other way around, the enemies in the west was looking for him, dividing their attention, and the enemies in the east was not expecting him, so he could get into a position where, without being spotted, he could do some damage before the enemies could aim to his position. So that was a very good strategy he did there. Right, so now obviously with your Batchat 12T, you don't want to head on the likes of the OI and the Rheinmetall Bolshevik Waffenträger, so he goes around to try to flank them, which is a good strategy. But you'll see that he chooses to switch over to premium rounds, which is a bit of overkill when you're shooting at the Waffenträger. Although the increased shell velocity is useful at range, at this range you really don't need fast shells. But he does manage to eliminate the Rheinmetall, and now he's still on premium rounds, and this would be useful for the front of the OI. But obviously with the Batchat you don't want to be facing the front of the OI. So wisely Kurak moves around to try to get the side, which he gets, and luckily for him the OI shell does not penetrate, so he's able to unload and eliminate him, gaining his 6th kill of the battle. So is the Batchat 12T a bad tier 8 light tank? No, it's the worst, but not by far. And the autoloader does give you quite a bit of an edge. If you know how to use it, as Kurak has demonstrated, you can still be very effective. Let's have a look at the post-game stats. It was an ace tanker, not surprisingly, and top gun and a high caliber. If you look at the team details, he's by a margin of, well, a factor of about 3. He's number 1 on experience in both teams, with a base XP of 1,486, and the total damage there 3,642. If you look at the personal details, thanks to the fact that he was running a premium account, he managed to make a profit of 20,000 credits. If he hadn't been using a premium account, he'd have made a slight loss, but for the results he got here, that would be worth it. You'll see the personal reserves and the daily bonus puts his total experience gained for this game to nearly 9,000. Very nice. And then if you have a look at the shells fired, 35, 26 hits and 24 penetrated. With the 170mm penetration of this gun, that is quite impressive. 24 of the 26 penetrating, and the spotting damage of just over 2,000 also contributing to his experience there. So in short, the Batchat being slightly below average, but because of the autoloader, I believe it's not actually underpowered. And if you know how to play it, you can do quite well. Thank you for watching.